In this video, I'll show you 10 methods for making gold in TBC Classic Phase 1. 5 of these will last the entire game and feature the legend FakeQT. 2 methods you can start doing right now in Classic WoW. 2 methods for the moment pre-patch goes live. And the final method that is a bonus 2-in-1 from the legend ScotteJaye. Without further ado, let's get to it. First up, we have the Sanguine Hibiscus herb. This can be looted from the mobs in the underbog and picked off the ground in the instance. You don't need to be a herbalist to do this, but if you are one, it will help when you're tracking the herb nodes in the instance when searching around, and also allows you to herb skin the trash mobs for an extra chance at herbs and primal life. The Sanguine Hibiscus is more lucrative at the start of the expansion and will likely go up and down in price throughout TBC's lifecycle due to the spikes of Prop Paladins' popularity depending on the phase content. Of course, we all know that Prop Paladins are the new kings of AoE farming in TBC, and every one of them who's worth their salt will need to acquire the Petrified Lich and Guard from the Sporagar reputation at Honoured. As the Sanguine Hibiscus herb can be handed in stacks of 5 for the repeatable quest Bring Me a Shrubbery in the underbog for a total of 250 rep, this makes the herb itself have a great use for those looking to boost their Sporagar rep. Aside from keeping your eyes open whilst running the dungeon in a group, you could also have some success with this if you're a solo capable class or have stealth by following the path shown on screen and resetting the dungeon after you complete the circuit. Doing this, you should be able to net between 20 to 30 Sanguine Hibiscus per run every 15 minutes, and as it's 5 herbs per hand in for 250 rep and 6,000 rep from friendly to Honoured for the Paladin farm shield, you're looking at 120 herbs to boost for the shield. So I'd recommend stockpiling these herbs and keeping an eye on the price to make the most profit when demand spikes. Void Crystals. These are used for a lot of the early game crafting items and enchants, with the enchants being the primary focus for us. The enchants themselves will be incredibly lucrative at the start of TBC and will likely taper off and settle in price as time goes on. It's possible to use tailoring and enchanting to flip relatively cheap items into Void Crystals for massive profit by crafting Soul Cloth items for cheap with a few bolts of Soul Cloth and Rune Thread, then disenchanting them for a 100% chance to get 1 or 2 Void Crystals. To get the tailoring patterns to make the Soul Cloth gear, you'll either need to buy the gloves pattern from your faction's respective NPC in the Grand, or get either the vest or shoulder patterns from the trash mobs in Karazhan. Motes and Primals. Primals are used in various crafted items for the entire game and are worthwhile to stockpile ready for selling at launch, as well as at the launch of every new phase released throughout TBC. There are 7 types of elements primals are broken into, and you can turn 10 of that element's motes into their respective primal. A well-known farming spot for these is the Elemental Plateau in the Grand, which requires flying to reach. If you're a druid and able to fly there early on TBC's launch, I recommend going straight away at level 68 and literally grinding yourself senseless on these mobs for your last 2 levels to make crazy gold whilst gaining XP. Some quick tips for farming these is that herbalists can get extra motes of life, miners can get extra motes of earth, engineers can get motes of air from clouds in Netherstorm, and due to their scarcity, fire and air tend to be more lucrative. Now, there are plenty of farming spots of primals in Outland, and the legendary FakeQT has an excellent video covering all of them, so please go check out his video, drop the likes and the subscribes. Planar Essences. 3 lesser essences can be turned into 1 greater essence, and these are used in pretty much every enchant in the game. The price might be a little bit shaky at launch, and then as players become ready to raid, it's more likely the price will spike due to the enchant's demands increasing. You could also stockpile these and keep an eye on the price for when new raid tiers are released, as more enchants will come into play as raiders will be looking to enchant their brand new gear as soon as possible. There's a nice shuffle for tailors and enchanters here that could be extremely lucrative depending on your server's prices. You can take 3 bolts of Netherweave, aka 18 Netherweave cloth, 1 Rune Thread, and then craft that into a Netherweave belt. This then disenchants for a 22% chance of 2 to 3 lesser planar essences. Selling Karazhan keys. The Karazhan achievement requires 3 key fragments from the Shadow Labs, Steam Vaults, and the Alcatraz. Saving your dungeon lockout with the path to these fragments cleared is an easy way of making gold. I'd expect the Alcatraz fragment to be the most lucrative here, as there's a pre-quest for even getting into the dungeon, so giving players the option to skip that segment is a surefire way of some easy gold. So here are 2 methods you can start doing right now in Classic WoW before the pre-patch hits. The old Dark Runes from Sholomance will still have their use in the TBC raiding scene. It's likely they won't remain as lucrative, but for the high-end pass beards, I expect they'll pay whatever the price is to avoid going back to farm these themselves. We've also got Ghost Mushrooms, another item that might see some use in the raiding scene due to its involvement with the Elixir of Shadow Power and Demon Slaying. These 2 elixirs are excellent alternatives to what are likely to be the more expensive level 70 counterparts depending on the situation. Considering how easy it is to farm Mara for Ghost Mushrooms in Classic, we can expect 0 issues when doing it in TBC. Here are 2 methods that you can prepare to jump on the moment pre-patch is live for big gold. Recipe for Transmute Primal Mite. Primal Mites can only be acquired by using the Transmute recipe to combine Primal Earth, Water, Fire, Air, and Mana. In turn, Primal Mite is then required for the majority of early game crafted epics and throughout TBC's lifecycle. The Transmute recipe itself is only available from 3 vendors in the game, and 2 of them are available the moment PrePatch hits, which is one in the Exodar and one in Silvermoon City. Then there's also one in Shattrath City on TBC's full launch. These vendors will only have one recipe in stock that resupplies every 4 hours. Now that timer is based on historic data and may not be accurate, but needless to say, this is going to be an easy flip for some quick gold. Another item to flip from vendors with restock timers is the dual crafting design pendant of the Agate Shield. Dual crafters are going to be looking for this pattern as it is the most efficient way to level dual crafting from 120 to 150. The pattern is sold in Menethil Harbor for the Alliance and Free Win Post for the Horde. I won't speculate on what the price could be like when PrePatch launches, but taking private server data with a pinch of salt, you could see your 15 silver initial investment return with a profit of up to 30 gold. And now we come to the bonus 2-in-1 recommendation from ScotteJaye, who has a couple of brilliant videos for you. These cover the potential of solo stealth farming as both a rogue and a druid to grab herbs and chests from dungeons, and another farm that will be incredibly lucrative with the most big brain competition free method to farm as much netherweb spider silk as you like. Links to both FakeQT and Scotty's videos in the descriptions and in the pinned comment below. Thank you as always for watching, drop a like and subscribe and follow over on Twitch, and I'll see you next time. Peace.